Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Shepard Englander. I'm the CEO here at the Jewish Federation of Sarasota-Manatee. We are so moved at this capacity crowd and that all of you chose to spend your time on this incredibly meaningful and important commemoration. And it means a great deal to me personally because this is part of my own family's past. My father's family was destroyed at Auschwitz in Poland, and all but one of his mother's 10 siblings died there. I grew up with the only survivors, my cousins Elsa and Irene, so I think of them today. I'm proud that for many years, the Jewish Federation, our Jewish Federation, has been very committed to Holocaust education. This is how we remember the 6 million who perished and all the others who perished in World War II. We insist that we remember the lessons so that they will never be repeated. But this year it is even more urgent, as we're on track to actually break the record in 2024, last year, when over 9,300 reported attacks on Jews in America were recorded by the FBI. I'm shocked that this year, in 2025, we've seen Jews hunted and killed on American streets. They were killed in front of the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., and then only a month later at a vigil in Boulder, Colorado. They were killed. Why were they killed? They were killed because they were Jewish and appeared to support Israel. This is something that I never imagined would be happening in America today, and it makes today's event and our commitment to fight hatred against Jews and against all people absolutely urgent. I'm moved that in our audience we have our beloved community of Holocaust survivors and their families who join us in this mission and commit their time to tell their stories so that no one will ever forget them. They are here with us today on the 87th anniversary of Kristallnacht, the Nazis' Night of Broken Glass, which we will commemorate through a wonderful tribute performed by the Polish Chamber Music Association, presented under the auspices of Holocaust Music Lost and Found. The Chamber Ensemble will perform extraordinary works of 5 Polish Jewish composers, 4 of whom survived the Holocaust and 1 who was killed by the Nazis. But all of their lives were shattered by the Holocaust, and that can be heard in these works. In honoring their music, we celebrate a profound expression of Jewish resistance and resilience that happened during one of history's darkest moments, which is a testament to the human capacity to create beauty and meaning even in incomparable pain and darkness. We are grateful to the Minister of Culture and National Heritage of the Republic of Poland for being with us and for partnering with us and for their generous support for today's program. In a moment, we will be joined by our host for this afternoon, Judy Fox, our program chair and a dedicated member of the Federation Board. But first, it is my honor to introduce the Consul General of the Republic of Poland, Jaroslaw Wasinski.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As Consul General of the Republic of Poland in Houston, I consider it a privilege to be able to address you this afternoon. We have gathered today to remember one of the darkest nights in the modern history, Kristallnacht, or Night of Broken Glass. On November 9, 1938, Jewish homes, shops, synagogues were across Austria and Germany were attacked. The streets were covered in broken glass. But what really was shattered that night was a common sense of humanity. That night opened the path that led to the Holocaust, when 6 million Jewish men, women, and children were murdered, along with millions of others, simply because of who they were. We remember that night not only because it was tragic, but also because it was a warning. The moment when the world could have spoken out, but remained largely silent. Today, when we look around us, that warning feels all but relevant. In recent years, we have witnessed a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism in Europe, Middle East, here in America. Synagogues and Jewish schools have been attacked. Hate speech flows freely with a lightning speed over the internet. Conspiracy theories, once constrained to the margins, right now echo in the mainstream space. The same hatred that shattered glass that night shatters right now trust, sense of community, and truth. Let us be clear, anti-Semitism does not begin with violence. It begins with indifference. And the best antidote to indifference is the remembrance. That is why remembrance matters so deeply. It is not only because of the past, but also it's a moral duty to the present. I speak to you as someone from Poland, country that bears both pain and memory of the Holocaust. Before the Second World War, Poland was a vibrant home to a Jewish community. Jewish life and Polish life were deeply connected. It all ended when Germany invaded Poland and started occupation. Soon started resettlements, ghettos, horrors of Auschwitz, Treblinka, and many other places built and operated by Germans on Polish soil. Today, Poland is committed to be a guardian of that memory through museums, education, and dialogue. Because to remember is to resist hatred. To forget is to invite it back. Here in America and also in Poland, we share the same responsibility to speak up about injustice we've seen, to stand with our Jewish friends and neighbors, and to make sure that never again really means never again. Let us keep our memories alive, not only in ceremonies, but in our choices, our words, and our hearts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Jewish Federation of Sarasota-Manatee, thank you for joining us today. My name is Judy Fox, and I'm honored to serve as chair for this year's Kristallnacht commemoration. Would you all be so kind to do me a favor and silence your cell phones if you have not yet done so? Thank you. Today, we gather on the 87th anniversary of Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, when on November 9th through 10th, 1938, the first nationwide outbreak of violence erupted against Jews in Germany, Austria, and parts of Czechoslovakia. Jewish homes, synagogues, schools, and businesses were destroyed. Thousands were murdered or arrested and sent to concentration camps, while neighbors stood by and watched. Kristallnacht marked a critical turning point where the policy towards Jews shifted from symptomatic systematic exclusion and persecution to one of state-sanctioned organized violence, and ultimately the final solution. However, the insidious seeds of anti-Semitism were indeed being planted for centuries around the world before Hitler rose to power in 1933 and unleashed what now became the Holocaust, the Shoah. Our federation has had a long-standing commitment to Holocaust education. Through programs like this one, we honor those who perished and those who survived to tell their stories. We support our schools and teachers so that the next generations learn the lessons of the Holocaust to help build a world without prejudice or hate. And as we remember, we must never forget. The more recent and overwhelming rise of global anti-Semitism reminds us that our work is far from over. So we must act. We must educate. We must speak out. We must stand strong. We must continue on the path to reaching out to build awareness and educating our world toward the basic truth of human value and freedom. We must support our federation and other community organizations that embrace the mission of educating the world about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism. We owe a debt of gratitude to all those courageous individuals who bore witness to the Shoah and who share with us their stories and testimonies, and in some cases left us with invaluable treasures such as art, music, diaries, artifacts, documents, and historical accounts. Let us be grateful, for we have been given an extraordinary gift of not only being able to honor the remarkable Holocaust survivors and their families with us today. We also celebrate their indomitable spirit through music created by Jewish composers impacted by the Holocaust. We now begin our musical tribute of remembrance and recovery featuring the Polish Chamber Musicians Association and Holocaust Music Lost and Found. This afternoon, we'll experience the voices of 5 Polish composers who survived the Holocaust, artists whose resilience and enduring spirit found expression in their extraordinary music. The repertoire will be magnificently performed by 3 award-winning and brilliant musicians who are part of the Polish Chamber Musicians Association. With appreciation, I share that this project is co-financed by the Minister of Culture and National Heritage of the Republic of Poland, from the Cultural Promotion Fund and the Polish Cultural Institute. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the founder and president of the Holocaust Music Lost and Found, Janie Press, who will share more about her organization and today's program. Janie?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Janie Press, and as Judy said, I am the founder and president of Holocaust Music Lost and Found, and I am so honored to be here with all of you in what I know will be an incredibly moving and special program in memory and honor of Kristallnacht. We could not do our work without supporters, so I'd like to first thank Judy Fox, Shepard Englander, the Jewish Federation of Sarasota-Manatee for inviting us, and to Betty Zarek for her outstanding work on this event. And her wonderful friendship. The past months have really been a joyous experience, and thank you, Betty. I'm very grateful that Consul General Wyszynski is with us today, and thank you for your beautiful and heartfelt introduction. And I also want to thank Rabbi Cohen for leading us later in the Mourner's Kaddish. I'm always honored to be in the presence of Holocaust survivors, so thank you for all of you who are here and for your families for joining us, particularly as we remember Kristallnacht. Holocaust Music Lost and Found was established 4.5 years ago, and our mission is to foster the discovery, the study, and performance of works by composers whose lives and careers were upended or destroyed during the Holocaust. By illuminating these works through both concerts and education, we inspire others to raise awareness of the extraordinary power of music to lift the human spirit and counter anti-Semitism and hate. Holocaust Music Lost and Found pays tribute to the legacy of some of the incredible composers and musicians who, against all odds, created beauty during the Holocaust. Many of these works were written in concentration camps and ghettos or by the composers who fled the Nazi regime. Their surviving music celebrates the creative spirit that did not give in to anti-Semitism, hatred, and the inhumanity of the Nazis. In the past 2.5 years, Holocaust Music Lost and Found has presented 12 programs in New York, New Jersey, and California, and today marks a very significant milestone for us as we expand into Sarasota, Florida. And later this month, we're going to Charleston, South Carolina, with the Polish Chamber Musicians Association. Just as exciting to me today, tomorrow, we are bringing our program to 2 high schools in the Sarasota area. And later this month, when we're in Charleston, we will be bringing it to a high school in Charleston. We have realized in the past 12 months that we can have a tremendous impact on high school age students, many of whom are not even aware of the Holocaust and the lessons from the Holocaust. This past January, we held our first high school educational concert for 110 students for the Williamsburg High School of Architecture and Design in New York City. Following the event, students noted in their school's newsletter, and I quote, "This program is important for high school students because it makes them think about the past and what these people had to live through. It makes them realize a lot about the Holocaust and how impactful it really was. There wasn't just gloom in the survivors' lives. They tried their best to make something of it." End quote. These are powerful words, and they remind us that we must share this history and music with young people and with a diverse audience so that they can continue the fight against anti-Semitism and hate, and so that they will never forget. Holocaust Music Lost and Found is so privileged to be collaborating with the Polish Chamber Musicians Association on this program, along with a presentation we did in September in New York at the Center for Jewish History, and next month, or later this month in Charleston with Congregation KKBE. The Polish Chamber Musicians Association also wants to make sure the composer's works remain accessible to a diverse audience and to reach younger people and educate through music. This is a unique opportunity to continue sharing the stories of the composers, many of whom were Polish, and to bring communities together. Grzegorz Mania, who is the co-founder and president of the Polish Chamber Musicians Association, and is our esteemed pianist today. He has been a wonderful and inspiring partner, and we are so incredibly fortunate. I look forward to our future programs together. If you want to learn more about Holocaust Music Lost and Found, please visit our website, hmlf.org, or after the program, please come and meet me and learn about how you can get involved and support our incredible organization. And to make sure that none of us ever forget the music, the composers, or the spark of creativity that can never be extinguished. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you. Douglas?
Thank you very much. Just a few words. Hello, I won't be speaking too long. I want to just do some introduction to the pieces. I've been informed that there are a few people speaking or remembering Polish, so dzień dobry. For those of you who remember, good afternoon in English. This is a very special program for us, very special event, very special program. I'm really touched seeing you all here because we really want to present you this music, like share the gift with you. We composed a collection of not only music styles, but of life stories. And please try to look at it as a collection of life stories, of lives that were, as it was said at the very beginning, shattered by unthinkable, by Holocaust. And we have this special collection for you today to show you one thing which is sometimes it's hard to imagine. When we started to cooperate with Janie, she asked me whether in Poland we are taught about Holocaust. I told her, of course, we know everything about it. We know the numbers, the unthinkable numbers, what happened there. There are school trips to Auschwitz, so it is being remembered. But it's hard to imagine how the whole event impacted the whole nation for generations later. Me personally, I knew the story very well. I thought I know everything about the story. It was for me hard to imagine how deeply it changed the whole nation, because thousands, millions of people were just erased. Their life stories were finished and erased. And well, today we are talking for you and playing for you musicians, one of the specialities, but there were like thousands of doctors, lawyers, priests, and other professions that were simply erased. It changed the whole course of the nation for generations. We are feeling it right now. And this is hard actually to imagine. I don't think it's ever possible to educate and show how deep it was, at how deep it impacted us all. So anyway, we are trying to do our small part for you. That's why we are bringing music to you. So I hope you know some names. If not, I hope this is why we are here, to get you familiar with some names. Amazing life stories, as I said. We will start from Roman Ritterband, a composer born in Łódź, who escaped almost in the last possible train to Switzerland, and then finally finished in States, first in Canada and Chicago. Then he thought it's too cold in Chicago, so he moved to Palm Springs. Yeah, and he wrote plenty of film music, many songs, but also classical music. We have for you 2 of 3 Hebrew ballads. Eva and Carolina, who are joining me right now, come on, don't be shy. They are usually not that shy, but you know, the crowd, you are here. Let's see. Hello. So yeah, they will tell you a few words between the two ballads a little bit more. I will just prepare microphone for Ivo. So we will start from Roman Ritterband, the piece that was written for harp or piano and violin, but you will hear it in their original arrangement for classical accordion and violin. You know, I have to leave because I have plenty of stories to tell you. I will speak a little bit more, but we have limited time, so I will stop myself and tell you, maybe later, you know, at the reception after, I will tell you stories about accordion and so on. So far, Ivo and Carolina, Roman Ritterband, 3 Hebrew ballads, number 1 and number 3.
Hello everyone, we are Karolina and Ivo, violin and classical accordion duo from Poland, and we are honored to be here today to present you our unique program. Consists of music by neglected Polish Jewish composers. We hope you'll enjoy the program, you'll appreciate their works and our heritage, Polish Jewish heritage. So we started with a Hebrew ballad called The Dreamer, and now we are moving towards the next piece, also by Roman Ritterband.
So the second ballad that we are presenting today is Lullaby, and The Dreamer had, because all of the three ballads, they do carry a non-musical inspirations to them, which are short texts by Ritterband. So to the first, to The Dreamer, we had just one sentence which goes, imbued by sadness and resignation, a man's mystic soul is lost in dreams, and for a while flies away to times of past happiness and joy. But now in the lullaby, which is the final of the ballads, there is a longer story to it, and this is how it goes. Bending above the crib, the mother sings the lullaby, while the baby in its innocence is happily falling asleep. She recollects the martyrdom, the cruel lot that befell her people, and her tortured heart cries. The Kol Nidrei roars through the air and brings to mind the severe judgment of our life and death. Life, however, wins over the tears and fears. The baby is sweet and beautiful. And again, the mother resumes humming the lullaby until she drifts into sleep against her baby's cradle.
now. I'm confiscating the microphone, so they are not allowed to talk anymore. Jokes aside. We will play for you now a very special composer, Simon Lax, and this is one of the special names we want you to remember because life story here is amazing. He was a violinist, pianist. He was caught in France and transported to Auschwitz where he managed to survive only because first he became a member of, it's hard to call it orchestra, a cappella in the camp, and then by being a copist, arranger, finally a conductor. This actually saved him from perishing. So life story amazing. If you have time, please look in his book. He wrote about his memories from Auschwitz in his book called Music from Another World. It's available in English or in Polish if you want to, train your Polish. It's available in Polish as well, in French too. Amazing book. We have amazing music for you. Lax wrote this piece that Iwo and Karolina will perform in 1932. It is based on Polish folklore, and it's an homage for a famous Polish composer, Karol Szymanowski. And that's it. The beauty about Lax, you will hear it later, is that he uses modern language to somehow connect it, make a fusion of traditional things with a little bit avant-garde music. So we will hear first Polish suite by Simon Lax, first movement of this Polish suite, and then you will listen to accordion solo. Iwo will play Józef Kofler Sonatina, one of movements of this Sonatina. This is actually a sad story. This was an avant-garde composer who didn't manage to survive. He was killed tragically somewhere in Poland by a Gestapo officer. So we want to share this story with you, also to remember. So first Simon Lax, Polish suite, then Sonatina by Józef Kofler, accordion solo, and then I will play finally.
only one little thing that I wanted to add about the Kofler, the sonatina that I'm going to play now, is that Kofler was one of the first composers in Poland to write in the dodecaphonic style. So in the times where composers were searching for some new means of musical expression that would differ from basically pieces that sound either minor, either sad, or major, so happy, composers wanted to find a new musical language that would be as far as possible from creating the sense of something sounding major or minor. So this piece is going to be much different from anything that is there on the program, but it's written in a very, very good way, so I hope it will still be an exciting piece of music by Józef Kofler, his Sonatina.
Finally. I was waiting so long, you know. I almost forgot how to play, actually. No worries, hopefully. See, I forgot how to play. I will find it. Anyway, see, I can play. Yeah. Short story, because we are running out of time, so we will speak later. Weinberg, another very important name, huge friend of Shostakovich. His music is regaining popularity right now. He's this type of life we wanted to show you, a guy who chose to escape to the eastern direction and found himself in Stalinist Russia. At that time, his fate was very turbulent right there, because he was married to a daughter of very famous Jewish activists. So when there was an anti-Semitism at some part in Stalinistic Russia, Weinberg was even imprisoned. His life was actually threatened. Shostakovich himself was intervening to release Weinberg. Fortunately, he did so. He was managed to write music for many years, although always writing and behaving under the threat of censorship. So never with his true language, except music. And we have for you a very short piece out of 2 songs without words for violin and piano. We will play the second one for violin and piano. We will go back now to Simon Lax, and we will do for you something that actually we've never done before, because they play together. We play sometimes with Carolina, violin, piano, that happens. Very rarely happens violin, piano, and accordion. This will happen today. We've never played together, so for you, this is our debut. We will play for you out of 8 Jewish songs, folk Jewish songs written by Simon Lax. We will play the seventh one, the Alte Kasche. Short story about the songs, because this is an amazing story. Lax wrote two pieces, two works, just after being released from Auschwitz camp. One was the string quartet based on Polish folk tunes, and another one was the arrangement of the most popular Jewish folk songs sung in Yiddish. What he did, he took the original songs, and I hope some of you will recognize the Alte Kasche, and he, well, combined it with his own accompaniment, a little bit modern, though not too modern, so he won't take attention from the beautiful melody. And the amazing thing is that he was, you know, by trying to preserve his identity, everything, humanity, he just turned to two of the fundaments of his being, actually, to his Polishness and Jewishness. And he wrote these two pieces. Then for years, he couldn't write anything more because he survived something that he was not meant to survive. And then he went back to composing. But these two works actually were written then. Well, we are not four of us and string quartet, so sorry. But we can bring you the Jewish songs, and we will play the one out the number 7. Okay? And now we have for you a little bit lighter music, because, again, connected with different stories. First, we will play for you in a small white house, w małym białym domku, a tango very popular in Poland before the war. And this was actually a piece written by Weinberg, or rather arranged by Weinberg. This was one of his very first professional engagements when he was 17. He was engaged because his father was a musician in one of the many Yiddish theaters in Warsaw, so he was in the theater life, in music life, and that's why he was engaged to arrange this song. So this is a little bit different Weinberg, not so dense, not so focused, not so Shostakovich style later, but a lighter music. In the Small White House for You, a slowly tango from Poland in the 1920s, I think. And now to finish, we have for you two musical presents, actually. Henryk Wars, one of the most famous, maybe the most famous film composer in Poland. He was a prolific composer, writing music to the most popular hits in the Poland, you know, from the period between two wars. I think even music was more popular than films and still is. There are people who can still sing Gdzie tutaj mieszka pani Agnieszka, where the Agnes lives, or Miłość ci wszystko wybaczy, Love will forgive everything. So plenty of songs that tremendously popular, and then he was in the army fighting with the Germans invading Poland. He had to escape, he had to rescue his family from the ghetto in Warsaw, and through the whole Anders army route through Africa and Italy, he finally ended in, well, through UK, he ended in States, in California, of course, because it's warmer there than, you know, Chicago. And he tried to restore his career. That was, you know, hard for him because his life was shattered completely. He was one of the most popular one in Poland, still is actually. And then in States he was one of many, no name almost. He tried, he worked hard, he actually did it. He achieved a success. And we will play for you two of his pieces. I mean the most important, his film success. We will play for you two songs from the Flipper movie, from the first part and then the sequel. So first will be the Flipper and then the Cotton World. And this is Wars. This is the same one who is tremendously popular in Poland for his songs that he wrote almost 100 years ago, still being sung there. And then Flipper for you, he'll hear his American part of life.
Wow, that was so much fun, and really, you are such talented musicians. Thank you so much. And if you want to, when you talk to them in the lobby afterwards, if you want to say thank you in Polish, it's dziękuję. So thank you. Please give another warm Sarasota welcome and applause for these great musicians. We're so thrilled they traveled all the way from Poland to come here and grace us with their talent. So now we're going to have... So for the 6 million Jews who perished in the Holocaust, never again. Did you light the candle? Can you show her? We didn't rehearse this. There we go. Thank you, Rivka. Okay. Next, we have Jeanette Hirsch. For the 1.5 million Jewish children whose lives were taken, never again. Next, we have Susan Konstam and Evie Bates. For the survivors, past and present, whose courage inspires us, including those we recently lost, never again. Thank you. Next is Agnes Schipper and Janet Hiller. For the families who carry their legacies forward, never again. Al Botner. For the rescuers and liberators who risked everything, never again. And for Helga Melmed and Lisa Bean. For the Jews around the world who still face hatred today, never again. Thank you all. Would you all please remain standing as Holocaust survivor Marcel Infeld leads us in the El Malay Rachamim, followed by Rabbi Michael Cohen from Temple Sinai with the Mourner's Kaddish.
El Malay Rachamim שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. את נשמות חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל וכל אלה שמסרו את נפשם על קידוש השם ושנהרגו בשואה. אנא בעל הרחמים תסתירם בצל כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר אמן.
Please join me for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash me Rabbah. Bialma divra hirute viamlich malchute. Bechayachon uviomachon uchaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mivarach leolam olmei olmaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit halev v'yit halal shmei dekudisha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiran bialma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yo kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu v'yo kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Thank you.
Thank you. We want to extend heartfelt thanks to the Minister of Culture and National Heritage of the Republic of Poland and the Consul General of Poland, to Janie Press and the Holocaust Music Lost and Found organization, and to the Polish Chamber Musicians Association for this unforgettable program. Our deepest gratitude also goes to Rabbi Cohen, Marcel Infeld, and above all, to our beloved Holocaust survivors and their families. As we commemorate this dark chapter in our history, we must remember that history can repeat itself. Because we are witnessing a resurgence of anti-Semitism and hate in our own time, we must be upstanders, not bystanders. By standing up for what is right, by educating, by speaking out and coming together, we can make a difference. The rise in anti-Jew hate is not only a Jewish problem, it is a warning sign for all humanity. It is up to each of us to act, and to act now. Before we close, please once remain standing and join in reciting the Hands Against Hate pledge. It'll be on the screens. As together we renew our commitment to building a community rooted in inclusion, compassion, and peace. Together, I pledge to stand up and resist hate, bigotry, and bullying. I will not stay silent in the face of intolerance. I will work with my neighbors to create kinder, safer, and more inclusive communities for all. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you.